Hello guys and welcome back to The Sims 4. Today we're doing a room build. We're doing just a cute little girl's room, or I guess it could be a little boy's room, or a little, and whoever enjoys yellow and flowers is basically who's going to enjoy this room. It is a 2-person bedroom. You could have siblings or cousins, or it could even just be one kiddo in here, but like a sleepover bed. I had a friend growing up who was she was an only child, but she had kind of low-key sleepovers every weekend. There was always a friend, we were always rotating out. She always had somebody sleeping over, so she just had a second bed in her room. And that was, I think, kind of just her parents' way of just making sure she always had someone to play with on the weekends and stuff. So lots of options with this room. It's definitely very horse ranch themed. I was really, the entire inspiration was those beds. I was like, I really want to build a kid's room, and I really want to build a 2-bedded kid's room. And then I was kind of I want it to be kind of soft and kind of sweet, very, sort of, sunbeams and flowers and things. And I saw that bed and I was like, okay, and it's yellow. And it's yellow, and it's rustic, because I want to use that bed. And it took a little bit of a while. And the funny thing about this bedroom, as you guys know, I usually build throughout the week on my lunch breaks, and then I try to devote a little bit of time on the weekends. It doesn't always happen, but I try to devote a little bit of time. So a lot of times I joke that a room will be a 1 lunch break build or a 2 lunch break build, and sometimes a big apartment will be a 4 or 5 lunch break build. But this one totally was a 1 lunch break build that took 2 lunch breaks, because when I first started with this room, I literally was so excited. I got my little lunch and I sat down and I placed the bed, and that was it. And my work computer started going off like crazy. We ended up having a pretty major emergency at work, and I had to sign back in. But I completely forgot to stop recording. I was just oh no, and jump back in, And so when I went to cut this footage together, I was like, oh, there's 2 of these. I don't remember there being 2 of these. So I put them together and I was like, why is one 4 hours long? This build did not take that long. And it was literally just the screen staring at the bed, because I didn't close the game down or anything till later. And I don't actually remember stopping the recording, so I'm not sure if it stopped just because it was done with me, if there's a recording limit or something, or if I just stopped it out of habit. Which is distinctly possible, because at this stage in the game when I record, there's the shutdown sequence, quote unquote, close and save the game, close and save and start editing the footage, start the export of the footage. That's all very automatic in my brain now. So it's distinctly possible I just did that too, but it kind of cracked me up. I was like, I do not remember. I do not remember this, so... But yeah, so this was pretty much a 1 lunch break build, except for the 1 bed got put beforehand. I love, jumping back to what we were talking about more specifically here, that armoire is gorgeous. It is stunning. I love that so much. But it's funny because to me, so in my great aunt's house, she has an armoire like this that is actually for clothes and things. But most of the time in my life, when I've seen stuff like that, it's been converted into a TV cabinet. And so it's so funny because I associate that with TV, even though it totally wouldn't be in The Sims. It would be clothing. But it would be so funny to me if someone could set up the animation such that you could have maybe the doors open, or set a variant of that where you could have the doors open with the TV inside, because that would be so what I saw growing up as a kiddo. In fact, we didn't have an armoire for the TV, but my parents, the way our house was set up when I was growing up, my childhood home, there wasn't a dedicated office space. But my mom was a school teacher, so she kind of needed an office space. So they found this really pretty, armoire TV cabinet that when you opened it was actually a desk, and it was really cool. And over the years it got converted into other things in our house, but it was really, really neat because when you closed it, it just looked like a pretty cabinet. But when you opened it, it had a fold-out desk space, and it had the computer was always set up in there, and it had all the storage and stuff. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of mimicking it with my own office. I have a built-in with doors closet. But I needed a dedicated office space, and I don't have that. So I turned my closet into an office. I've talked about this before, but it only literally just occurred to me that I probably basically modeled that idea off of that armoire my mom had. If I didn't need to be in a closed-off space for quiet, for stuff like this, I could totally see an armoire office working for me. The problem is there's absolutely no space in my room for it to work. and there's no space in the house where it could be quiet enough for me to be able to do things like record YouTube videos or, you know, panic at work because everything's gone wrong. So, but yeah, no, that's, honestly, I've seen a lot of our wall conversions, and I think it's a really cool idea, especially if you live in like a small apartment. I really think I'm finding it's very important if you work from home to have a way to close off work. My next big project is trying to figure out an end of work day routine, because I used to have a commute, right? And the commute was great for being like, I'm no longer in work mode, I'm in live mode. But I don't have that anymore, and I'm realizing that's pretty important. So I'm trying to figure out like what's a little series of things or a little thing or something that I can do that's like done with work, because my job really likes to creep into my personal life. I've also just realized while watching this that unfortunately the screen is cut a little bit weird on this. I thought I had found all the footage on that. Over Christmas break I played the game just for funsies, and I played full screen because it was just for fun, and my screen is kind of an odd size, and so it didn't, when I turned OBS back on, I didn't readjust the screen. I completely forgot about it. So you'll have to please excuse, there's I think 2 or 3 videos that I'm aware of that have that problem. There might be more that I didn't even catch it, and I am super sorry about that. I think all the ones that went up are correctly framed, but now I'm kind of super like squeaky about it, but I am sorry about that. If you're wondering why the videos are really poorly framed for all, it's just aspect ratio. It just was me not realizing I wasn't recording in the correct aspect ratio, because I look at the preview on OBS, but I didn't think to actually like check the corners and stuff. So, and I get so used to like during the work week and stuff, it just, the game pretty much only gets loaded on my work break when I'm building, on my lunch break, right? So I know I'm not used to the idea of like, oh, that was full screen. But over my break I actually got to play just for fun. I've been playing For Rent like crazy. It's super fun. Those builds, it's kind of weird. Those builds should be coming up soon, but they're taking a little bit longer because they're all like multi apartment builds, right? So, and there's been like a couple where I've been like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to actually use that footage because it jumped around a lot, or there was major glitches, or it was back and forth. So those builds are taking a little bit longer, but more For Rent based build should be coming soon, which I'm really excited about. I'm trying to build some brownstones. They're going exceptionally slow, but I'm really excited about them. And then I have a little apartment thing happening in Copperdale. But I've been having so much fun with just the build items too. Oh my goodness, I built, what is it, Villa Landgrab, the apartment in San Myshuno. I just did it for fun with some of the new packs and stuff that I was gifted for rent and several kids, which is very sweet for Christmas. And I'm building with that, and it turned out really cool, but I didn't record it. So I'm kind of tempted to do something similar and record it because it turned out really cool. I was really happy with it. But yeah, I've been having so much fun actually playing through. I have a sim that I'm kind of playing through For Rent. She hasn't been a landlord yet, and I don't know if she'll be a landlord, but I've been using the tenant stuff quite a lot, and I enjoy it. It's very fun. And I just really enjoy how many sims packed into one lot can make it feel very busy. Like, it's really cool. And then like I'll pop between units to like fix things up for the neighbors and stuff. It's really fun. I'm enjoying it. I know a lot of people have issues with that pack, and I totally understand why, and I will admit it is hella buggy, but I'm really enjoying it. So, and I have, I think, a special like, I think I maybe have like a slightly higher tolerance for bugs because of my job. I'm just like, somebody missed that, and I probably know how they missed that, and that's fine. You know? And so, but anyways, I struggled with this wall because it's just like, it's big and blank, and I didn't really know what to do with it. And then I found, which we'll get to here in a minute, those tapestries. And I've used those tapestries before, but I've always used the default swatch because I like it and I didn't think about it. And to be honest with you, with a lot of like the tapestries and things, the Sims team can sometimes just get more and more wild with the other swatches, such that I was like, it's not really worth looking at. And then I realized they have really cool other swatches, and I don't know if I knew that and then didn't know that, or like if I never knew that, but they have really cool swatches on this. Like, and there's sets of 3 where it's like 3 of them go together all the way across the board. There's like 4 sets of 3 or something like that. And to be honest with you, those have become one of my new favorite build items. They're so pretty. Like, look at that there on the wall. It's not quite like a perfect like match through. Obviously it's made to be 3 distinct pieces that can be used separately, but the through line there is so pretty, and it worked so well on that wall, and I was so excited about it. And I just didn't know that those existed. And so I was so happy about that. I'm really, really pleased. And like I said, I've used those in several other places now, just in like my gameplay and stuff, which is really, really fun. I didn't know though. And that horse one didn't really work in this room, but like, I'm like, there's like 4 other places in other builds where I'm like, those are going to get used. So I suspect, I haven't started on the interiors of the brownstones yet. I have fussed over those brownstones, but that's a video for another time. But I suspect those will be used in at least one of the builds in the brownstones. And then I had these little wreaths going on. I wanted it to be, like I said, very sort of soft, very sort of like through a fuzzy, nostalgic lens kind of little kid's room. And I didn't want a lot of tech in the room. I didn't do a TV, there's no radios, I don't believe there's a computer, because I just wanted it to be a fun little place for these kids to come hang out and play, a good space for them to exist on their own without the worries of parentals or real life nonsense, and a little place for them to do their homework and hang out, and a very cozy place. So, and I really think that turned out pretty cool. And I'm actually like, I've mentioned this before, that I build on one monitor and then I play on another, or I edit rather on another. I do actually play on the other monitor. I'm blind, but the colors are truer on the one monitor, which is smaller. So I build on the one monitor so that the colors are truer. But then like when I'm just playing for myself, I'm like, if I actually want to read the prompts, it needs to be on the bigger monitor. But anyways, I always edit on the bigger monitor so I can see stuff, like the aspect ratio being off. And it's actually very warm on the like warm cinematic setting, and I'm really happy about that. Sometimes it looks really oversaturated, and I'm always like, oh, I don't know. But this room just seems cozy, and I'm really, really pleased with it. And I'm really quite kind of surprised I was able to pull off this vibe, because I tend to, with little kids' rooms, either way over clutter, or like it's really hard to get the colors to kind of match nice. It seems like yellows lately and blues in general are really good colors to stick with for The Sims. It seems like those are colors they kind of consistently hang around the same hues. And I'm not entirely sure what that is. I don't know if they have an existing color palette that they work off of, but those yellows and blues seem to be, you can usually hit pretty decently. They work well together. Obviously the beds and the wallpaper are a little bit off, but that's also like a little bit true to real life, right? Like, you're never going to be able to get your wallpaper to match your bed to match us. You're just going to get close. So I think that's okay. But they're usually pretty good shades of yellow. Or like you can get like corresponding beiges and creams and stuff that work really well with the yellow. Same sort of thing with the blue. The blues usually correspond pretty good, especially like their navies are all kind of in that same slightly desaturated hue. So those work pretty good. Pinks are just nonsense. Don't try to match pinks in The Sims. You will never be able to match pinks. It is ridiculous. Pinks and purples all over the board. The later packs have like more jewel tones or like pastels, a little bit more contemporary. The older packs look like Nickelodeon threw up all over them. Not necessarily in a bad way, but that's just sort of the vibe. It's crazy. It's crazy. And then I wanted it to look here too, like the kids had put up like their school projects and things, because it's a little kids room. You want it to be their space. You want it to feel appropriate to them. So I'm trying to remember what I put up at the wall. So what I was trying to mimic, I didn't want to put up birth certificates, right? Because then you would have the onus to have to replace them for your Sims. I don't remember what I ended up going with here. I think maybe these guys, I cannot remember. But what I was kind of trying to achieve here was the idea of like putting up someone's birth flowers, or putting up like individual little name art or something above the beds. That was kind of the vibe I was going for. I think I ended up sticking with these even though they're slightly uneven, because I liked the idea of like a parent going and getting something specially painted for their kid. But that's what I was trying to do with like the flowers and stuff, is I was trying to get that like that look. You know, I think we all went through the phase in the early 2000s, at least in the Pacific Northwest, it seemed like everyone had like the custom painted initial. It was either like you found it at the thrift store, or your aunt's neighbor's friend's dog's mom's thing painted it for you, or you got it for a birthday gift or something. Somehow you had either like a block initial or a painted initial, or you had some sort of initial near or around your bed. I don't think I had mine near my bed. I definitely had an initial over my desk though. But I was trying to achieve that effect of like if you had like Isabel and Annabelle, you would have Izzy and Annie written above their bed or something like that. I don't know, I'm just pulling names out of a hat. But that kind of thing. That's what I was trying to mimic there. And then if you wanted to, if you had their birth certificates, you could put their birth certificates with their bed. Or if you had custom paintings of flowers, you could put their birth flowers above their bed. Or if you're skilled with Sims 4 Studio, you could make your own art to go above the bed. That would be really cool. Something like that. That was just the idea behind it. Because I was kind of imagining I have twin sisters in one of my personal playthroughs. My sim had twin girls, and so they were like starting to grow up, and I was kind of imagining, like, if this was their room, how would we like make it cohesively theirs but have like a little differential above their bed, so that, you know. And that's one way to do it, when they have like matching bedding and stuff. And then I just wanted to make the homework area cozy and a place you'd actually want to hang out and do things. Put some plants up. I would assume in a kid's room they're either fake or mom's watering them every day, but that was kind of the vibe. And then I went ahead and just painted the ceilings and put an older light in. I don't know if I love the ceilings, to be honest with you, but they kind of fit the vibe, so I think it's okay. But anyways, guys, I'm going to go ahead and leave you here with the screenshots. I hope you enjoyed this build. I'm really happy with how this build turned out. I think it turned out cool. And I will see you guys soon. I think I have at least one more voiceover to record today. And then some other fun stuff hopefully coming down the pipeline soon, although maybe you've already seen it by the time this goes out. But anyways, y'all, I hope you're having a good day and you're feeling loved. And if you're not feeling loved, please know that I love you and I'm glad you exist. I'm glad you're here hanging out. You make the world a better place just by being you. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye!